Good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. This is going to be the best report I probably get to do today. And Donald Trump scores a knockout victory with the Supreme Court to Jack Smith's case. In fact, I'm bringing in a little Trump throwback for you with Vince McMahon. Now, I know the WWF is fake. You don't need to throw it in the comments, but it was still awesome. And this is almost what Trump did to the liberals yesterday, because the Supreme Court accepted the immunity case of President Donald Trump. And I have got some video on here that is going to show you a liberal freak out like you've never seen before. But see, you need to understand that by taking up this case, even if this summer, when the case is scheduled, they rule against Donald Trump, it pushes everything back on the timeline, okay? And then this doesn't even take into account, you guys know I covered that Fisher case with the J6ers, and this is dealing with obstruction of Congress charge and all that. That's not even factoring this into play, okay? That's still pending before the court right now. A decision there for the defendants would absolutely change everything, okay? This is Jake Lang's involved in this case. I've had him on. You guys know about this stuff. But with Georgia and D.C., basically, these are all but gone at this point, folks. And Florida isn't happening. All they have left is New York. And believe me, I don't trust New York either. But now, look at how badly the left is losing their cookies.
Then the appeals court gives a bulletproof ruling, as Dahlia says, and they still decide to take it up.
What it says is that they are corrupted political actors who act in bad faith. The reason why people like Mark and people like Dahlia seem to have a crystal ball is because they're real, because they're realists, and they understand the court for what it is. And at some point, people in the media, people at home, and people sitting in the White House have to stop pretending that the Supreme Court is some kind of benign, trying to do its best institution and start to realize that there are 6 Republicans, not conservatives, Republicans on the Supreme Court who view it as their job to help the Republican Party.
I just love this dude's hair, but this is this clown. He's the justice correspondent from The Nation. And I've read you guys some articles from The Nation before, and you're like, I've never even heard of them. That's them. That's them. These are far left, radical, communist, Marxist crazies people, just like this guy. And he runs around, he's like, oh, these are Republican justices. You know, and he's like, they're just going to do anything to help Donald Trump. Aren't they the same people who run around bragging about how the Supreme Court didn't take up the 2020 case? Every time the court rules the way they want, it's good. But when they decide that maybe this is the bridge too far, it's bad. This guy's idea of justice is locking Donald Trump up for anything.
And until we do something about that, until we take away that power, until we draw the line on them there, they will continue to do this. They will help Trump. They will take away abortion rights. They will end affirmative action. They will liberalize gun rights. They will do all of it until we stop them. And somebody needs to start listening in the higher echelons of the Democratic Party, because we will keep losing every day we allow these 6 Republicans in robes to rule over all of us.
No, they are losing every day due to their failed policies. It's on display for all of America to see. We can see the border. We can see the criminal activity that's not getting prosecuted, while people who walk through the Capitol are getting prosecuted. It's absolutely obscene. These people have like no rooting in reality. And then he talks about liberalizing gun rights. You don't need to liberalize gun rights. Gun rights are just enshrined in the Constitution. It's called the Second Amendment. But see, these are the people who think that your rights come from the government, not from God himself. But it gets better, folks, because now we got Rachel Maddow.
You know, if you think about the court as the Supreme Court of the United States and a rational actor and a decent one, that was a reasonable supposition, and it just turns out they're not that. Feel, incremental bit of progress here. The important question here is not whether the Supreme Court is going to decide that Donald Trump and all presidents are immune from prosecution for things crimes they committed while they were president.
That is such a mischaracterization of the presidential immunity claim. What they are saying with presidential immunity is that he's immune from what he did that were official acts. So by Trump digging into the results of 2020, that was just an official act of the presidency, trying to make sure there was a free and fair election. We're not talking about crimes as the left sees crimes. We're talking about real crimes. See, Richard Nixon, his deal was due to his campaign activities, not his presidential activities.
I mean, it would be fully insane for them to actually side with Trump here, right? The conclusion that we can arrive at now based on what they have done without having to wait for the ruling is that they are ensuring that Trump will not face trial. And when they inevitably rule that presidents aren't immune from prosecution after they leave office, what that will tell Donald Trump, if by then he is president, is that he can never leave the office of the presidency. Right. And if he is voted out in 2028, he cannot leave office, and he is willing to he is welcome to commit any crimes he wants to, as long as he is still president, in order to ignore the result of that election and stay in power for life, because otherwise he is going to go to prison when he gets out.
People, take a deep breath. This is so awesome. When they are freaking out this bad, you know just how good it is. I mean, they actually think that Donald Trump, who happens to be 77 years old, he's not going to live forever, Rachel. I mean, that's just a reality that none of us are getting out of this deal alive. He will stay in power forever. Otherwise, they will throw him in jail. Well, they have kind of created that narrative, haven't they? I mean, it seems like they'll go after Donald Trump for anything, even crimes where there was no crimes, like they did in New York with Judge Arthur Engoron and so on. This is the madness of the left. But Trump he doesn't want this job for forever, okay? At some point, Donald Trump will want to do other things. I mean, this is so ridiculous.
The idea that this is an open question, that it might be that a former president can never be tried for something that he did because he was president when he did it, is disproven by a plain reading of American history and the whole justification for Richard Nixon being pardoned in the first place. So the idea that this has to be taken up is them saying the sky is green. Right. And I think even for the non-lawyers among us to be able to say, you know what, the sky is not green even on our worst day, this is BS. You are doing this as a dilatory tactic to help your political friend, your partisan patron. And for you to say that this is something that the court needs to decide because it's something that's unclear in the law is just flagrant bullpucky. And they know it, and they don't care that we know it, and that's disturbing about the future legitimacy of the court.
I've actually been outside when the sky is green. Really bad weather rolling in with a green sky. It means a storm's coming, Rachel. Folks, these people are losing their cookies, so you should be having a hot cup of Mike Lindell coffee right now, enjoying your day, because this is the greatest, people. They have lost on every single case to get him disqualified, and they just cannot take it. And this dude, this gal, Rachel, is so upset about it, folks. I'm going to leave you with an outro with Donald Trump again out of that WrestleMania when he comes back and says a few words. But really quickly, go check out my sponsor, MyPillow, MyPillow.com. Use promo code Lumberjack for big savings. And remember, subscribe if you're new. We'll catch you in the next episode. Peace out.
Through your head as you slapped Vince McMahon?
Well, he had no right to touch me, and he started playing around, and I gave him a wallop, and I think it had a pretty big impact. Actually, he's got a little problem with his face right now.